7 steps to calm any argument. During an argument, emotions rise. Each side digs their heels in until they are hearing but not listening to the other side. Each side digs their heels in until they're hearing but not listening to the other side. Because if I'm hearing you but I'm not listening to you, I'm just hearing the stuff I don't like. Each side digs their heels in until they're hearing but not listening to the other side. You ain't gonna never resolve a conflict that way. You got two people in a conflict, neither one of them want to take the higher road. Further escalation means an eventual blow up. The results are damaged emotions and no solutions or greater understanding. So when you go into a conflict situation with somebody, the goal is to come out of that conflict situation with solutions on how to make sure this don't happen again. You come out of a conflict situation, you should have a greater understanding for the other person. If you do it correctly, you'll have a greater understanding for the other person. How do you get your point across during a conflict without starting a war? Let's take a look at a few ways to approach the argument and bring it back to healthy communication. 7 steps to calm any argument. Number 1, keep the temperature even. Emotions are human, but we can keep them in check. When feelings spike, we perceive a threat from the other person, and depending on your anger style, you may go into flight or fight mode. Most of us, we either fight or flight when we get into a conflict situation. Either we get into a conflict situation and we dip. Pew, I'm out. I ain't dealing with this. And that's not always good either. Sometimes you need to stand there and stand your ground. And then a lot of things are not a fight. You got to understand that too. Everything is not a fight, and you got to learn how to pick your battles and don't let your battles pick you. Depending on your anger style, you might go into fight or flight mode, and emotions will replace logic. If you become upset during a conflict, take a deep breath to calm and ground yourself. Slowing down and pausing while speaking reduces the threat level. After all, how things are said is just as important as what is being said, if not more so. 7 steps to calm any argument. Number 2, have a sense of humor. Humor, in a way, if you use it properly, can de-escalate a conflict. Now, if you don't know humor, and if you don't know timing, because if you think you funny, don't mean you funny. Because some situations you might try to use humor, and humor is not what you need in that situation. You need listening and understanding, because humor might make this a worse situation. If I'm talking about something serious and you over here clowning, bro, if you don't quit playing with me, don't be a glass cannon, because one-way shot firing is bullying. Humans can break the tension of awkwardness of a conflict by using humor. Humor makes you more persuasive, since it sends a message of friendliness and says that they can laugh with you. It reminds the other person that no matter what the topic is, there's more between you both than just this conversation or an argument. Of course, this does require care of what is appropriate and when to use humor. If comedic timing is not your strength, maybe let the other person initiate humor if they want to. 7 steps to calm any argument. Number 3, ask thoughtful questions and listen politely. Most people don't listen with the intent to understand. We listen with the intent to reply. That's from Stephen Covey. So while the other person is telling you why they're upset, most of us are thinking on our rebuttal. What I'm going to say in response to that. So everything that you're saying, in my mind, I'm thinking about how I'm going to counter you when it's my opportunity to talk. And as long as I'm doing that while you're talking, I'm not listening to you. I'm not really hearing you. And if I'm going to hear you, I gotta take all of that stuff that's in my head, get that junk out, and clear my mind, enough space where I can hear what you're saying, and shut up while they're doing it. Because you both can't talk at the same time. We can sing at the same time. We can't talk at the same time. Somebody has to be quiet and listen. And then when the other person has something to say, the other person be quiet and listens. That's how you resolve a conflict. We all do it, even with the best intentions. Selectively listening only to the parts you want to respond to means you're making assumptions to fill in the parts that were ignored. The other person feels invalidated, lured into speaking only to be stepped on and used for the other person's agenda. To win in this situation, You have to listen to the other person with the intent of understanding where they are coming from. This will reveal better information to use with no assumptions to muddy the waters. And number 4, realize and accept that you might be wrong. You got to leave some space for that, because if you ain't leaving some space for I might be wrong in this situation, you just co-signing your own BS. So you got to go into every conflict situation because you don't know what you don't know. Not just that, you don't know what they know or what they think or what their assumption is. Only way you're going to figure it out is communication. But don't go into the communication thinking that you're right and the person is automatically wrong. A part of being human is that we want to know everything, and that's a human nature. But no one knows everything. When we are wrong, our pride can be dealt a blow when you are wrong, especially if the other person is toxic about it. In the end, it's all about perception. You can say in the end, I was gifted new information while the other person is still in the same place. Because if you're in a conflict situation with a person and it turns out you were incorrect in that situation, you just learned something. You did. You learned something. Guess what the other person learned? That they were right. That ain't new information. Don't you know there's so many people who are so prideful, they'll be wrong and they'll still push their point? They'll make their point right anyway in their mind. They'll try to use logic as a bonus. This is a bonus for that. As a bonus, being able to graciously admit you were wrong and showing the willingness to learn is a testament to your growth. It means that new knowledge doesn't break you. It allows you to change. Because it says something about you as a person to be able to apologize. Because when you were wrong and you find out you were wrong, I learned something. 7 steps to calm any argument. Number 5, win-win is the goal. I met a dude, man, from China at Ohio State. And we were sitting in the, I was there to do a lecture. But they allowed me to go where the TV is in the day room where the students be at. And they allowed me to sit in there and watch some TV. And I met this guy from China, man. He only had been in this country for like 4 years. He had been in the country for 4 years. He said when he was in China, they slept on dirt floors. He said when I first came to the U.S., he said going in the grocery stores and seeing food and water falling on top of mist and stuff like that, being able to buy whatever you want to buy, being able to get a job and work. He said he got him a job. He said he got a second job. He said he saved his money. He only bought what he needed. He saved up enough money he sent for his brother. His brother came to the U.S., got a job. They got a job, started working. He was saving his money. They moved from an apartment into a house. They saved up enough money they sent for their sister. Their sister came. She went and got a job. So now you got 3 people in that, and now they renting a house. It's 3 people. One dude got 2 jobs. The brother got a job. The sister now has a job. But what they are doing is they putting all of their money together and then only buying what they need. They were able to send for their mother. They sent for this is what he's telling me. They sent for their mother. Their mama went and got a job. They bought that house. They put him in college. He in college to be a doctor. And the only reason they was able to do that is because they worked together. It was called win-win. Right? You can't move in with one of your family members because the first check you get, they want half of it. They're going to dilute your money. They're going to dilute their money. And everybody in the house going to be broke. Because everybody got a philosophy of win-lose. You don't survive like that. You're not going to survive like that, and you are not going to win like that. Life is win-win. And the people who win at life, they understand that. Nobody has to lose. Labeling an exchange as an argument suggests the need to win. When you're having a discussion or a disagreement and you calling it an argument, you already putting yourself in the mindset or the mode that you got to win. That ain't no difference than a lion out on the Serengeti. If you ever wind out on the Serengeti and you're out there and a lion look over and look at you, first thing you better remember is don't run. Because he might be looking at you and just wondering who or what you are. But the minute you run, he got to chase you. The minute you run, you just went from a curiosity to prey. Yeah, now I have to get you. That's the same thing with a disagreement or a discussion. You call it an argument and already you in win mode. Healthy communication involves both give and take. Dishing out only rebuttals and rejection can make people feel attacked, even if what you are saying is true. Win-win, on the other hand, shows the other person that their opinion matters and you're hearing them. Finding that small island of common ground, that's all you need. It don't have to be a lot. All you need is a small island of where y'all can agree and stand on that. If you can't find no other common ground, bro, we brothers. We got the same mama. Now, come on. That's enough. Man, I've known you, bro, like 10 years. We've been friends since we've been in high school. That's common ground. Whatever y'all disagreeing with, find some common ground that y'all can stand on. Too many people be looking for differences. Don't look for differences. Look for what you got in common. Finding that small island of common ground can be critical in being able to progress without violence and bloodshed. We trying to avoid violence and bloodshed, and an argument can lead to that. A disagreement can lead to that. A misunderstanding can lead to that. Number 6, do your homework on the issue first and only use the facts. This is as much for yourself as for the argument or the debate or the discussion, whichever it is. Being comfortable and knowledgeable further increases your ability to identify inconsistencies and contradictions and assumptions from the other person. They may be basing their ideas on inaccurate information if they gossiping. They may be basing their ideas on inaccurate information while your knowledge is based on facts. This allows you to respond accordingly and come out on top, cool, collected, and correct. Appeal to higher values. Because it's not enough to win an argument. It's not enough to win a disagreement. If you win an argument, if you win a disagreement, can you still be humble? Because some of us, man, once we figured out that we are right, oh, we're going to rub it all up in your face. That we were right and you were wrong. So it takes a little bit of humbleness to actually help diffuse the argument. And you might be proven right, but guess what? They still don't like you. So you won the battle, but you lost the war. Make it meaningful to the other person or people you're talking with. Logic and facts are great to give you credibility, but people tend to stop listening when they're bored or can't relate to you. If you win, don't be a sore winner by rubbing it in people's faces or doing the touchdown victory dance to mock the loser. That's a sure way to not make friends. Win with respect, humility, understanding, and kindness. After all, no one knows everything.